It was a good one today. I really don't know how many plays we're at, or I don't have any stats on me right now, but a lot of situational work. Opened up with backed up and then went red zone, open field, finished right there with a game-ending drive. Really, it's tough to evaluate. I saw some really good things and saw some things that frustrate you. I think the biggest takeaway for me offensively was 0 turnovers. The quarterbacks didn't turn the ball over today, which I thought was good. Defense did a really nice job and backed up. I think they had 2 safeties, which I thought was really good. Red zone was pretty even. I thought the defense got the better part of them in the open field for the most part. Right there at the end of the game, Sam gave his group a chance to tie it with a field goal, and the field goal didn't convert. But then right there, Bo took him down and scored a touchdown. So it was a good job by both quarterbacks. Was really looking to see if we had some separation today, and I honestly just didn't see it. They're both playing really good football right now, so we'll go into next week and keep the battle going. Held out several guys today. Nobody's holding out because contracts. It was just precautionary. It's head coach decision. Connor Tollison's played 4 years as a starter. Didn't feel like that was worth the risk. Jalen Catalon's got over 4,000 career reps. Didn't feel like that was worth the risk there. So, a few guys on each side of the ball. We held out just to be smart. Tomorrow's an off day and be into execution week next. So, with that, I'll open up for questions.
Was there any big improvements from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2 that you saw today?
Yeah, the threes got a first down. The previous scrimmage they didn't get a first down, and honestly, we were really, really bad on third downs offensively. But saw some big time improvement in that area specifically, and several touchdown drives, whether it was in the red zone or open field with both quarterbacks. So definitely improvement there. Defense is going to be frustrated in getting takeaways, but I thought their ability to stop the run early was good. Yep.
What were your biggest takeaways from the offensive line today? What would be improvements from first scrimmage to the second one, you would think?
Yeah, I didn't feel like we had nearly as much pressure as the first scrimmage. We're still trying to figure out the best 5. And with Connor out, that kind of throws in a whole other lineup. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more stability for that next week.
Over at left tackle, we've seen Jaden out there quite a bit now.
Yeah.
Is he closing in on that?
No, we're gonna make a change next week and see. We're gonna make some adjustments next week and see if we can't find. The goal is to get the best 5, and so we still got 2 more weeks to get there. And so next week we'll make a change, and we're going to see if we got a different starting 5 next week to see what it looks like.
With the quarterbacks and separation, what does separation ideally look like for you at this point?
Yeah, I mean, consistency in decision making and consistency of scoring drives. There was just too many lulls in the middle by both of them. I felt like, we just got to clean that up at the execution end. Neither one of them were very effective in the backed up situation, which could occur. So we got to clean that up.
Hiring of Verma yesterday, just what made you want to create that role, and how do you think he'll be able to help out your staff?
Yeah, G-Money, as we affectionately call him. I just want to make it clear, he's not a GM. All right, so everybody that's saying, it's the fact, that's not even kind of what we did. We hired a director of football strategy and finance. He's in charge of cap administration, revenue sharing, what those caps look like, how we're going to orchestrate it, what's the contract numbers going to be, how do we slot players. So what's the third running back's value, with the guys that we're trying to sign to second year contracts right now? What does that put us into for recruiting opportunities? So it's really roster construction, so he doesn't have the ability to fire me. He's not my GM, okay?
Coach, I asked you about the tight ends a couple weeks ago as far as how can they get in the pass game a lot more? It seems like we saw them a lot today. What have you liked about them?
How did you see them? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, no, we got to get – those guys are big-time weapons for us. I thought Jude and Brett had several big catches. One of Brett's bigger catches got called back because of a safety or a sack. But, no, those guys have got to be weapons for us. We got to utilize them. They're just too good in the run game, we got to be able to utilize them down the field. So thought they did a nice job today.
We talked about Khalil Jacobs before, but I feel like he's a guy you can hear from the sideline.
Yeah.
He's a loud voice. How do you feel like he's really separated himself in that linebacker board?
Well, I think he did a great job today on first and second down. That's really where we challenged him to make impact plays on first and second down. When he plays downhill, he's a difference maker, and he did that today. But he's always got great energy and juice, and he's got command of the team or the defense because they see how much work he's put in.
The ability of both tackles there were making quite a few plays there. Few series. Are they further ahead than where you maybe thought they were at the start?
D tackles.
D tackles,
yeah. I mean, you're right. Justin Bodford had a big safety. I thought Braylon Henderson had a TFL. C7 always is pretty good in there. So, yeah, that group's really kind of stepped up. Appreciate what Coach Blackwell's done with that group.
The ability of both Bo and Sam to extend the play with their legs, how important is that for both of them?
Yeah, I mean, it's an important factor. It's hard to tell what that looks like without being live. But, both of those guys do a good job of playing that way.
Curious what you make of the running back room at this point in camp from first scrimmage to second. Obviously got to see some bliss of what Marquise Davis could do today as well. So.
Yeah, held Ahmad Hardy out. What's y'all's nickname for him? Somebody that saw a Twitter post. We got Horseman Hardy. Held him out today. He proved to us in the last scrimmage we don't have to tackle him live again. Jamal was really good. I thought he was downhill. T-Man had some great reps, but then, Marquise, I thought, stole the show with his effectiveness running the football today.
Coming out of that 77 jersey.
Now he keeps playing too good. Plays a lot better in 77.
With that second starting cornerback spot, has there been any new thoughts on that in this second week? Yeah, I'll have to look at,
we'll have to look at the tape today. I think Stephen Hall and Toriano and Dre, all three of them are really, in my mind, our starters. Those guys have played a lot of football and have been effective in coverage for a long time. So it's really a luxury that we have right now.
So is that a position kind of like last year where you'd be okay with rotating guys a lot there? Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to go out first, and I want people to want to go out first. But at the end of the day, we don't play with just 11 guys. We play with 20, 25 if we're playing really good defense, and I think we got the ability. I feel strongly about 18 right now. Dayton Hopkins, the way he played today, he's going to play himself into a role real quick. That was impressive stuff today.
It seemed like a lot of Daniel Blood today. Just what have you seen from him during camp?
Yeah, I thought Daniel has been consistent. Today I didn't see the consistent Daniel Blood. And quite honestly, I think he can perform at a higher level. We need him to. We need him to perform at a higher level than he did today. Too many drops. He's got to be more explosive with the ball in his hand. He's capable of being a dynamic player in this league. And, today felt like last season where it was up and down. Can't be up and down. Got to be consistent.
Curious what kind of jump you've seen from Toriano Pride from maybe last season to the start of fall game.
I think confidence is probably the biggest thing. I think he's just got confidence in who he is as a player, and I think that grew over time. Last year there were some setbacks in week 3 and 4 that I think kind of shook his confidence, and I think now he's got it back and he's playing good ball.
Coach, we talked to some of the transfers as far as acclimating to the SEC. Is there something you guys helped them with doing that, or is it just like hit the ground running and you kind of learn what the SEC is when you get here?
I think hopefully the way we practice, hopefully with the way that we prepare. But at the end of the day, man, the SEC's rigor is that it's week in, week out. And, every week you're going against somebody that's getting drafted. And that's not the case in other leagues. There's, you might play a 1 first-round draft pick in an 8-week span. We're playing a first-round draft pick at each position, and that's a different type of ball game for coaches and players.
Coach, last week you talked about the need to learn how to practice for some of the younger guys. How do you assess that this past week?
Yeah, you know what? I've been really pleased with the response, and not all of them are there, but Brendan Haygood I thought had some really good stuff today. Obviously, Marquise has been a lot better. Dayton Hopkins, Javen Hilson. You got to give it to Keaton Jones. I think he's been doing some really good things. Matt's figuring it out. Dante McClellan's a guy that we're going to be able to count on at the D-line. Jason Dowell's a guy or at linebacker. Jason Dowell's a guy we're going to be able to count on at D-line. So I've been very, very impressed with the progress over the last week. But again, we got another week, execution week. I think is really going to be important for everybody because now we find out who's going to be consistent. Who's going to be able to stick to it. This is kind of that rigor getting ready for the SEC.
Along with Dayton, who
kind of jumped out to you today, who caught your eye as performing particularly well?
Well, I thought for sure Dayton Hopkins and Khalil Jacobs on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Dayton felt like he was in our backfield pretty much all day with his group reps. Khalil, I thought in the back up did really good stuff. So those guys stood out to me. Most Phillips had some big-time hits. I thought he really played and popped for us. And I'll have to go back to the tape. I thought Donovan Alubide, Marquise with the one-handed touchdown grab, I thought was pretty sporty. Josh Manning in that 2-minute drive on the big-time dozen catch, and getting forward. So I thought there's a lot of guys. The biggest key for us offensively is being consistent. We got to narrow it down to who's in and get some consistency there. It probably starts more with the offensive line than anything else. Yeah.
Got time for a couple more.
Maybe more so in general than today, but how's the punting been with Connor?
Yeah, I thought today he had 2 really, really good reps. I thought big time. I thought John had a good kick too. That's honestly the biggest area of improvement in special teams right now is our punt coverage. I think we've done a really good job emphasizing our punt return team, and those guys have done really well. And with Kevin back there, that's going to be something I think we can be really good at. But we got to get better at our coverage unit.
You mentioned last week that there's no substitute for live reps, especially this time of year. How much does this give you and the staff this week and heading into next weekend to be able to evaluate and figure out where everybody is?
Yeah, we'll visit tonight and kind of see where we feel like that live stuff is. Traditionally this is the last time we go live, but we'll see. We're always evaluating. Do we feel like we've got the right kind of tackling base, and do we feel like we're missing a bunch of tackles? I didn't see a bunch of missed tackles today, but I'll see if we need to do that. And honestly though, I got to see if we can break tackles too. I didn't see enough broken tackles offensively, so there's a fine line there. I thought yesterday we had a really, really good day of work, and we didn't tackle live, and if we can keep replicating that, I think we'll be okay.
All right. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.